something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
Well, howdy, folks. How are you doing this very fine... What day of the week is it? I don't know. I seem to get a bit lost with them at the moment, which is a little confusing. Tuesday, I think it is. It has been another rather interesting day around here, and I didn't put up that image at the front there, this one, for no reason at all. I can tell you I've filled about 4 of those buckets over the last week, and it looks like we're in for a lot more. In fact, there is a weather warning coming out for thunderstorms. I'm looking out the way they normally come for us, and I can't see it out the window at the moment, but who knows, they might be coming from the other way and I can't see out there. So we shall wait and see. Let's have a bit of a gander and see who's in the house tonight. Lisa first in. Evening to you, doll, and what the second up. How many scammers able to detect travellers? What? Travels over the Gateway Bridge and to be able to text the driver to pay a toll via a scam copy of the link website. 1 second. Wow. That's a new one. What that? And there are a variety of linked scams. I got caught with one some years ago and consequently had all sorts of trouble. Well, they did, finding me. But they have a way and they have a means, and eventually you get boxed and you've got to play their game to a point. And that point may well be rapidly approaching for many of us again. Who else is in the house tonight? Aussie Sue, lovely to have you. G'day, Paul. Hope you're well, brother. Andrew's in the house. Scotty the News. And Sabinator in early tonight. Tony, my good friend in Melbourne. I hope you are well and life, the universe, and everything goes well for you and yours, mate. Dave O, I'm wondering how things are bubbling around at your place. I haven't been around to get that last bottle you made me, so we've got to try and figure something out about that. And because I have been not drinking a lot, but I have had the opportunity recently to partake in that tequila over Christmas. And I'm not a tequila drinker in any way, shape or form, but that Poncho's tequila, good gear, that. And that leads to very interesting nights in pools just between you, me and the gatepost. But we'll talk about that some other time. Wayno from Wilmo, brother, I hope you are well. I know you don't have a pool, or maybe you've just got a really big bathtub at your place. I'm not quite sure. But or maybe you do have a pool and you are just bobbing around in it like the proverbial poo in a pond. If that is the case, my friend, I hope you are doing it in style with a cold one in your hand, and love to you and yours. Look forward to getting up there. For those who don't know, Wayno's in South Australia in a place called Wilmington. He owns a campground there, which at this time of the year is actually closed because, well, you'd want to be Satan's child to go and stay there. Basically, it's that friggin' hot. But Wayno, being a staunch and solid bloke, is up there renovating, and he has recently done a tour of Victorian and regional South Australian caravan parks. I know that because he stayed in a lot of the same ones we did while we were running around, Vince and I, from Echuca back down to Mount Gambier and then further afield. Now, Wayno was basically doing exactly the same run with us, but along the way, he was looking around at what small town caravan parks offer and what he can bring to his camp at Wilmington. So expect some changes, maybe not all of them at once, but it's expensive to do these things. But folks, if you are thinking about a bit of a trip north, you want to go and see the Rock, or you just want to basically go out and have a look at what is the unbelievable expanse of our outback and just get a feel for it, then can I tell you that Wayno from Wilmo is the boy to talk to. And Wayno, send us the details about how I can flick up a picture of your park so that, or paste the website if you've got one. I can't remember if you do or not, in the chat, and I'll bring it up and see what we can do. we're looking forward to getting over there at some stage this year, pretty early in the year, I think it will be. Hopefully, but only with your support, we'll be hitting the road very soon. And one of the first events that we will be hitting the road for, which I'll get to shortly, is the rally down in Canberra. Hello, Connie, you marvellous lady. I hope you and Alan are back and safe and sound from your trip to Thailand, and you're enjoying the new year, all things going well. Going to have to catch up with Alan. Alan is a bit of a specialist in all things that blow hard through pipes. I'm talking gas. And last night I tried to use my oven to help with what turned out to be a rather over-exuberantly lubricated omelette. You take from that what you will. But I thought it better to try and turn it into a quiche. So put it into the oven, and it worked, but it doesn't get hot. Not really hot at any rate. So we're going to have a talk about that, and I'll have to bring it for a drive so you can check it out. At that time, I might be able to catch up with Clayton, because I believe he's a bit upset, and probably should be. There was a bit of confusion over the weekend, meant to meet for lunch, and I had a few issues of a varying nature, which precluded me being able to be contacted or to contact anybody. And unfortunately, I missed out on lunch with Clayton. So I owe you, mate. I'll come to you next time. And you can leave me hanging for an hour and a half. That'd be fun. G'day, Susan. I hope you are well and all things in Taswegia land go well. Dusty, good on you. Hello, Donna. And Stony Creek Bush Camp Caravan Park. There you go, folks. If you are looking, doing a tour up through the middle of Australia, or you want to go and check out sort of the northern central part of South Australia, then can I suggest to you the Stony Creek Bush Camp and Caravan Park. And go and check out Wayno. He's a very big My Place supporter and follower. He is part of the My Place South Australia team. And as a leader amongst that, he does a lot for the community. And if you are happening to plan a trip sometime this year, then make sure you put Wayno from Wilmington's Stony Creek Bush Camp Caravan Park on the list of places you're going to go and crash out. And just tell him Voice of Freedom sent you. He'll crack a beer with you, no doubt. Hello, Belinda. Lovely to have you in the show tonight. I don't think I've seen your name for a little while. Mr. Panel is in the team. Well, now that Mr. Panel has shown himself, I think I should probably lead off with what he's been doing. He has been a very busy man, has our Vincenzo. He, in recent days, has been helping put together all manner of things for My Place and for Our Place. And as promised, he has been putting together an ad for the Voice of Freedom and for, I guess, the Freedom Broadcasting Network. And it comes at a very salient time because, as I was saying before, the Freedom Rally, which we'll get to talk about very shortly in Canberra, is something we want to get to. And there are two of those in February and in March. So we're going to try and fill that time. We'll drive around in circles, which doesn't sound flash. Of course, we could always stay at Epic for a month. Hello, Karen. Do us a deal. But it all costs money. So we need help. And you know I'm not good at asking for it. So Vince has decided that he was going to make an ad. Now, he did not ask me for any help in this endeavor whatsoever. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here is Vince's ad that he's been promising now, I think since before Christmas, but we forgive him. It was Christmas and New Year and holidays, and I'm not the only person he's doing work for. And he works for me for nothing, God love him. So he can dictate the time frame quite happily. At any rate, here it is, folks, the debut of Vince's ad for the Voice of Freedom.
Hi, are you passionate about supporting independent media and social events? Voice of Freedom is dedicated to bringing you the latest happenings and things that matter. But we can't do it without your help. By donating, sponsoring, or becoming a member, you're not just supporting our mission. You're joining a community that values transparency and engagement. Your contributions allow us to continue producing high-quality content that informs and inspires. Visit VOFHQ.com to make a donation or explore sponsorship or membership opportunities. You can even donate using crypto. Together, we can amplify voices that deserve to be heard as we continue to create a vibrant platform for social change. Go to vofhq.com. Help us to help you by joining us and making a difference today.
Well, there you go. Not a bad sort of an ad, really. And the only thing I did was add a bit of music to it. So he has done very, very well. I take my hat off and thank you, mate, for the work that you've done. Scotty the News says that it is awesome, and I couldn't agree more. That is the first of a few different things you're likely to see. For those of you who don't know how to fillet a fish, Dwayne arrived back. If you've been watching the show or some of the little lives that I do off the phone occasionally before Christmas, Dwayne was with me. He's one of the hardest, if not the hardest worker here on the property. And he's an old bushman, knows just about everything. So he's been away fishing, and he brought back a mangrove jack, which he wanted to, show me how to fill it. So I said, well, hang on, I'll film that. So I did that this afternoon, really late this afternoon, and ran back here. Didn't have time to sort of do much editing with it, so I won't play it tonight, but I will tomorrow, I hope. He has come in just before the show began and with the cooked finished product. My God, I am not a fish eater, but I can tell you it is spectacular. So watch out. There'll be a little video of us having to go with a mangrove jack. And I didn't know that they were, God, the teeth on the bloody things. At any rate, they're apparently Australia's most vicious estuarine fish. They get very keen, very excited. And it tasted absolutely magnificent for a bloke who doesn't like fish very much. Pretty good. I also got, happily, a bit of a Christmas present from him, which is a mud crab. So the mud crab currently sits happily cooked in the fridge, but it is whole. So for those of you who have not had the experience of cracking a mud crab before, then tomorrow, for lunch maybe, I will attempt, and that's what it'll be. It'll be an attempt to get into a mud crab and share that with you over lunch. How nice will that be? Well, it remains to be seen. Speaking of nice lunches, there was a bit of a meeting of the minds, and that's not saying a great deal at the moment, at Kirribilli today. Two shitheads got together for a shitfest, and you can only imagine what is going to come out of it. Of course, Albanese has also come out today and tried to give Musk a kick in the left testicle. Don't interfere with an upcoming Australian election. Well, I think that's just laying the groundwork to blame somebody for their staggering loss that they're going to face. Will it be a staggering loss, though? Because all we're going to be faced with is the Undertaker Dutton. And how good is that going to be? Well, we wouldn't mind the nuclear power side of it if they're actually genuine in putting it forward. But I'm not completely sure that they are genuinely putting it forward. Rally in Canberra. So February the 8th was always an event that was liable to cause a little confusion about whose rally was happening where. February the 8th was the date set down for a rally that I went to last year, the the Reckless Renewables Rally. Now, that's where all the farmers come to town and they complain about the wind farms and the solar farms and every other thing that's being put up on their property, their water rights being taken away. And for, I can't remember exactly, but it must have been close to 6 hours, maybe longer. We live streamed any number of people who came up and gave very good speeches. I'm not having a go at that. And the format ran very well throughout the day. It was very fast. However, from about 10 o'clock through till 3 o'clock, it was back-to-back politicians. And the people didn't get a great deal of access to those politicians. I certainly didn't get any access except to Bob Catter, and it took my contacts of the Cairns News to be able to get that access. So for him to agree to have a bit of a chat, which I did for their channel. I think we played it on this one too, but he was the only one all day, and there were plenty of them. Pauline Hanson, Malcolm Roberts, I didn't know either of them at the time. Still don't know Pauline. Craig Kelly, got to shake his tiny little stubby hand and listen to him make excuses about various different things to various different people throughout the day, but nobody of any great import would hang around long enough to talk. And I felt that it was basically a Masonic welcome back to Canberra for the politicians, the farmers getting together and giving them their welcome back to Canberra for the year. Well, it turns out that that's not too far from the truth. Yesterday, this was put out. An important update: Freedom Rally cancellation of Freedom Rally. So it's my understanding that it was a reckless renewables rally that was being held on the 8th. The Freedom Rally may have been associated with it in the background. And there is another thing happening, of course, the treason trials, which were happening on the same day. Now, I know there'd been communications through the organisations, and, initially all the farmers were quite happy to get, a few more thousand people turn up to their rally, and the people at the rally were going to be allowed to speak. I beg your pardon, the people from the treason trials were going to be allowed to speak after 4:00 in the afternoon. That would have meant that all the politicians were far enough away not to hear anything by then too, just by the way. Anyway, not that one. I'll put this cancellation notice back up again. I'll read it to you. We wish to advise you that the Freedom Rally originally planned for Saturday, 8th of February 2025 has been cancelled. This decision reflects our understanding that many supporters are now focused on campaigning for particular candidates within their electorates. We also recognise that the key issues vary across electorates, and targeted efforts are more effective at this critical time. We strongly urge all members and supporters to channel their energy into driving meaningful change in this federal election. Together, we can hold the current government accountable and advocate for the issues that matter most to our communities. We want to take this opportunity to express our thanks to the volunteers who dedicated their time and effort to planning the rally. Your work is deeply appreciated and your commitment strengthens to our movement. Additionally, we would like to highlight the environmentally sustainable the environmentally sustainable. As we approach this crucial federal election, members will be organising a series of grassroots actions across electorates. These initiatives will focus on empowering local communities to take action and make their voices heard, although not to any of the politicians, because they're not having the politicians anywhere near those people, and the politicians aren't coming out that day anymore now because there's no party for them to talk to the people. Thank you for your ongoing support and dedication. Together we will make a great difference. Yours sincerely, Grant Piper. I think Grant is a bit upset at how this whole thing has been hijacked. And who has it been hijacked by? It's the National Party. So I think that's woken a few people up in a couple of different parts of the freedom movement. They're now they are now actually seeing some of the working cogs. There are layers upon layers upon layers of hoops you need to get through to get to some of these people, and that's how they separate those of us who are not on message with them from those who are, and those who are obviously gain access. At any rate, the treason trials will continue, have absolutely no doubt. Now, what is happening on February the 8th is the indictments. Now, I know that there are 350 individual indictments, that not all of them, I don't think, there's no point really in reading them all out. However, this is more a matter of giving notice, and I'll be able to tell you more about this next week and in the weeks coming forward. If this is an event you think you might like to attend, that'd be great, but this is a come to this event and go home event. All right, afterwards, this is a come to this event, show your support for this event, and then go home. There have been some rumours and stories of other things going around, and I'm spoken to the organisers, and at this juncture and for the foreseeable future, this is a come to the event. By all means, partake and show your support, show just how serious these are. And if you have questions, then over the next few weeks, we will be helping you hopefully find some answers to those questions with the people who are putting this event together. It also leads us to the March 8 event, which would be the actual indictment trials. And if that is an event you want to come to, then I suggest you might be staying a little longer than one day for that, given there are 350 or so indictments. But there'll be a lot more from us on the Freedom Trial, I beg your pardon, on the Treason trials in coming days and weeks. I can tell you that there are a lot of meetings happening in the near future, and I can't tell you much more right now, but keep watching this space, particularly over the weekend, just between you, me, and the Gatepost. Okay, where else am I up to? I'll scroll down and find the right thing. All right, let's get on to the fires in Los Angeles. Now, there has still been quite a large amount of confusion. There still is a number, I think it's 2 fires burning out of control. The rest of them they have under control, at least to varying degrees. The Palisades fire is still out of control and burning back up into the hills. I think it's appearing closer to 230,000 displaced people, 12 to 15,000 destroyed buildings. That ranges from homes to shopping centres to everything. And now, of course, they're talking about how they will probably not be able to stage the 2028 Olympics because there won't be any builders available to build any of the infrastructure that might be required for it. I have a feeling LA probably has a lot of the infrastructure already, but a lot of displaced people, the hotel rooms, the ability to get a room, all that kind of thing isn't going to change very much, not in 2.5 years. And, will Tom Tate stick his hand up and ask the Gold Coast to take it on? Anybody knows. The question does seem to be raised at the moment. A wildfire that burns bridges but not shrubs. Certainly something that makes you go, I've also seen footage today of a house with a red roof, not a blue roof. That is the only house left standing in a sea of destruction in a suburb. Every house around it, behind it, in front of it, for blocks, decimated. But this white house with a red roof survived. All the trees didn't survive in its yard, though. They'd all been burnt, but the house survived. So maybe they had some sprinklers on their roof. It's not a bad investment if you live in the kinds of places where you could do with a little bit of added fire protection. What's been going on with UFOs? Now, somebody asked this in the chat last night, I think, and I got to be honest, I haven't looked. It's just basically a distraction. If the drones are as we appear to think they are, they're Chinese, and this is a show to the US to say, well, basically, we can do this and you can't do anything about it. The Yanks are either not concerned or not outwardly doing too much about it. What can they do other than try and offer some sort of way to knock these drones out of the sky, which is more detrimental to them because when they land on the ground, they're picked up by people like you and I who start asking questions about them. So at this juncture, there's no point in flying down the F-15s or the F-16s or the F-35s and trying to shoot them out of the sky. They're basically letting them do what they want to do. But somebody up there is shooting. getting a bit shocked and surprised with my button pushing. I am so pleased. There is such a lot of very, very smart people. Hello, Jinder Lee. Love your work, brother. Haven't seen you around for a while. So many smart people. It looks fake. That's probably because, in my guess, Vince is 100% on the money here. I want to play it one more time for you, and I want you to watch the moon. This should be the first indicator for you. Just watch the... You ever seen the moon set like that? It's a little stranger. Mind you, we are seeing a lot of strange things about the moon, but is it that kind of strange? I don't know. It is a great movie, Donnelly, a very good movie indeed. And I can tell you, I think from a little after lunchtime on the 21st of January, our time, the circus is just going to get better. The film is going to take a big twist. So what is my perception of what's going to happen after Donald Trump is sworn in? I think we are going to see the largest number of executive orders ever issued by a president in the first hour of his presidency ever. A lot of those will be to do with locking down the border and some other more domestic issues like getting the ability to deport people who are here illegally and to actively start hunting those people down. But there will also be executive orders signed allowing the people who allowed this breakdown border to happen and helped instigate it and propagate it, they will also be hunted down and brought to trial. I think we are going to see, at least in broad strokes, a portion of the plan released to us on January 21 our time, and I think it's going to be very exciting. It's got a great deal of potential to bring about huge change in the world. Speaking of huge change in the world, I haven't been familiar with QSI. I haven't really spoken to anybody from QSI for a little while, but there are warnings I notice again today coming out. I'm not suggesting that they are founded in any way, because as the person making these warnings, and the only reason I mention this is to highlight this very point, the person who has made a supposed warning about QSI has made it with the codicil. I don't know if this is true or not. And they've said it again further down in what, if you really wanted to look at it that way, could be termed a slanderous post about QSI. So they've put out what ostensibly is a rumor or a lie, and then claim deniability by saying, I don't know if it's true or not. I can't vouch for this or whatever, but I'm going to tell you anyway, and I'm going to stick that out. Now, I know a lot of QSI people watch this program, and I'm sure I'm going to get flooded with people and phone calls telling me just how much bullshit this is, and I agree. So don't come hassling me for it. However, I am going to start looking into a few of the things she said. We knew that there'd been a breakdown with Whiplash some time ago, and Whiplash had been off doing weird things. Whiplash has apparently shut his channels down. There's a whole great story behind it. I'm not over it. I don't understand it, haven't been a part of it, and haven't bothered keeping track of it. But that doesn't say I don't take an interest, and I will over the next few days or two, I think. Sandy is in the house, the lovely Sandy K. I can't reach them. So I've received some gifts in the mail. Margie Sedgman sent me something. Now, I don't know if this is a bit of a plug for who it is, so I won't mention it. But I've been sent a large tub of stuff that's going to help me lose weight. I'm looking forward to trying it. I haven't got into it yet. But creamy French vanilla. It's got me written all over it. Creamy French vanilla. I tasted a vanilla bean coconut milk today for the first time, or a coconut milk with vanilla bean in it. To die for. to die for. I'm not going to mention the brand because they're not paying me. So why mention brands if you're not being paid for it, hey? But yeah, that I will give a good try. And with the wrist now starting to get stronger, it is by no means strong, can I tell you? But I have a wonderful little, can you see it, little squeezy ball here that fits beautifully in the palm of my hand and allows me to, do this for 10 minutes or so at a time. I get a bit of pain out of the back of my hand after 10 minutes, so I let it rest, and I do this 4 times a day. Hopefully it's strengthening me up. I'm going to get on a chainsaw next week and see how that goes. Oh, actually, I've got to be on an angle grinder next week, so we'll see how that goes. Probably not a bad way to start fixing it. I know that in the old 500cc motorcycle Grand Prix days, the riders who fell and broke their wrists, the teams would have them get an angle grinder and a piece of steel or iron or whatever, and at the appropriate time, they would have them just hold the grinder and grind this bit of steel because it helped strengthen up all the muscles again in their arm. And that's essentially what I've got to do. So Sandy, the other day, in the list of things that I got sent me through a beautiful, the Top Paddock is the name of the newsletter for the sanctuary, the donkey sanctuary. And geez, you guys know how to take some very sexy pictures of both the donkeys and yourself, Sandy. So I'm going to take some photos of those photos and put them up on here so people know just, how cute you look with your chargers. Very, very cool indeed. So looking forward to coming down and seeing you in the not too distant future either. What drugs am I on? I'm a bit excited tonight because I have, you did, Sandy. You did send me a whole pile of stuff. There's key rings, and maybe you sent it a while ago and I just haven't got the mail until recently. But yeah, there's a whole heap of stuff that was in there. So thank you very much. And Sandy and the Donkey Sanctuary have some great merch. So Good Samaritan Donkey Sanctuary, please help if you can. They still need funds to buy a new float because it seems that companies that make floats are greedy fuckers. Greedy. That's all I'm going to say. But greedy. Anyway. We'll speak more about that because I'm going to keep pushing as much as we can to help in that regard. And hopefully in the not too distant future, we'll be able to help you out, Sandy, and all those donkeys that you rescue. It's such a big deal. And we are so grateful that there are people like you out there doing it and people like I've been working with Josie. And I know I've been telling you there are things happening in the background here. Well, there are things happening in the background here. Next Monday, I'll be having another meeting. And after that, I might be able to tell you a little bit more. But I think you'll be pretty chuffed with the idea of what's planned here. And if we do it right, you might even like to come and visit. It'll be I think, a spectacular journey for everyone. All right, I'm going to love you and leave you early tonight. I have a meeting that I have to get to in Surfers Paradise this evening, so I'm going to run this show just a little bit short. Later on this week, in fact, tomorrow night, I'm going to be talking with Beckio and Doris from Truth Seeker TV. We're going to be talking about something which I think is a brilliant idea. I'm pretty confident Beckio came up with it, but I could be wrong. Darren Bergwerf may or may not make another appearance tomorrow night. God, it just seems like it's turning into the Bergie show, but that's no problem. We can give him a show if that's what it's like. FBN Media is all about that. However, as we lead toward Australia Day, I want you to really think about what Australia means to you. Now, think about what I've asked. What is the question? What does Australia mean to you? Think about it. Really think about what Australia means to you. It's not an easy question when you sit down and start to consider it. Some people, I've been considering it now for hours, and I would still struggle to articulate it just yet. I'm getting there, but slowly, because I fell into the trap of describing what Australia is. or rather was, and not what it means to me. So to qualify that statement or that question a little more, what does Australia mean to me? What could they take from Australia, from Australians, that would make you stand up and be counted? What does it mean for you to be an Australian? And if they took or threatened or took away, that means, that's just one aspect of looking at this. I'm not saying it's the aspect at all. I'm just trying to give you thought starters. What does Australia mean to you? And we're very keen on hearing your answer, or your video if you would like to make one, a little one on your phone that you can upload direct to contrib.vofhq.com. Now, this isn't my idea, this isn't my initiative. We are working with Truth Seeker TV and Beckio and Doris on all of this. And I really do think it is a great idea. It makes you think about what Australia is, what it was when we grew up as kids, what it is today, and you don't have to question what it is today too much. One of the girls mentioned to me, and she'll probably tell the story herself when we chat, about going to New Year's Eve celebrations in Melbourne. And not only was it Spot the Aussie, but, well, there were probably a lot of Aussies there, but there wasn't a lot of white Australians there. And this is in Melbourne City. And the noticeable thing on New Year's Eve used to be, and I've got to admit, I haven't been to too many New Year's Eve parties in many, many years, but it used to be that kissing strangers was a bit of a thing on New Year's Eve, you know, at midnight. You could run up, you could kiss pretty much anybody you wanted, girls, not more so than boys, but that doesn't happen anymore. There is none of that. And let's be honest, if there is a letterbox lady out there, you know, dressed all in black with just a letterbox to look through, they're not running up kissing anything, or not being run up and kissed at all. In fact, they're probably just being made to stand back in a corner and make sure the kids aren't going anywhere too wildly. So our nation has changed. Our Australia Day celebrations are coming up. And this year, the pendulum seems to be swinging back a little bit more in favour of the Patriots and the ability to celebrate our National Day without turning it into some racial crisis, some radical division between Aboriginal Australian and whitey. We have to fix that, folks. We're all one nation. I'm as Indigenous to this country as any black fella born on it, because I was born here too. Anybody who was born on this land is Indigenous to it. And I have history. Doesn't go back as far as yours, but mine does go back through the modern history of Australia, rather than the one where you walk around hunting for your food in a nomadic tribal way. And by the time Captain Cook had arrived in 1776, the locals in Australia at that stage still hadn't invented the wheel. So Australia Day, for mine at least, is a celebration of modern Australia and the advancements that is brought to all people, all colours, all people in this nation. And I would hope that this year, many other people who previously may have hated the idea of celebrating Australia Day will view it that way, as a way for us to unite. It is a great way to bring us all together. It should never be used to drive us apart. At the end of the day, it wouldn't matter if we changed the date of Australia Day from January 26th to February the 3rd to March the 12th to January the 19th to December the 15th. It wouldn't matter. The whingers will always whinge. The mice with the voice of lions will always roar. But now the pendulum swings back, and we the people, we the patriots, we the lovers of a nation, be that the beaches, the barbecues, the beers, the bikinis, the larrikin nature, our sense of humour. These are all great things to like about Australia and Australians. But what does Australia mean to you? I'm going to leave you with that question. I want you to think about it. And tomorrow when we chat, and it will probably be a day show, I think it will happen around 10 a.m. Queensland time. It might happen around 9 a.m. Queensland time. Oh, no, I've got a job on at 9 a.m., so it won't be 9 a.m. It'll be after 10 a.m. Queensland time. And that'll be with Beck and Doris from Truth Seeker TV. And they are driving this initiative. So we are going to be alongside and helping do that. And if you would like to contribute your idea, your answer to what does Australia mean to you, do it in a little video. Make sure you're standing somewhere where we can see you. Just say, hi, my name's Trevor or Stacey or Bertha or Fred or Alice or whatever it is. And do something maybe no longer than 60 seconds. So as long as you want, but no longer than 60 seconds. And tell us what Australia means to you. And both Truth Seeker TV and the Voice of Freedom and the Freedom Broadcasting Network will be very keen on putting that together and seeing what the consensus is. I think we all have a different idea of what Australia means to us. So let's get an idea. Let's get a starting place. And for God's sake, let's celebrate Australia Day 2025. Let's not have racial debate, racial divide, racial bullshit. Let 2025 be the date where we show the world that we can be brothers and sisters, that we can unite. And with that, freedom can come our way. Stay away from those that divide. There is only pain down that road. Well, speaking of roads, you know where the dickheads live. You stay off them, folks. Have yourself a good night, and we shall chat again tomorrow a couple of times. Have a good night.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's ride!
Hi, are you passionate about supporting independent media and social events? Voice of Freedom is dedicated to bringing you the latest happenings and things that matter. But we can't do it without your help. By donating, sponsoring, or becoming a member, you're not just supporting our mission. You're joining a community that values transparency and engagement. Your contributions allow us to continue producing high-quality content that informs and inspires. Visit VOFHQ.com to make a donation or explore sponsorship or membership opportunities. You can even donate using crypto. Together, we can amplify voices that deserve to be heard as we continue to create a vibrant platform for social change. Go to VOFHQ.com, help us to help you by joining us and making a difference today.